what we have here is a storage facility and also it acts as our showroom for some of the cars that have come into that we've imported and some that have belonged to some of our clients. So what you see here is I think pretty unique because typically you don't see something that's stacked up this way in Singapore. Because of our land cost and all, this is the best solution. You know, I was trying to look out for spaces in order to park 30, 40 cars, and there wasn't anything I could afford. So I thought, why not go up instead? And this is movable, so we can take it along wherever we want. Our cars come from all over, really all over the world. Namely, you see here right-hand drive cars. We've got some cars also parked overseas, left-hand drive ones also as part of our collection and our customers' collections. And because Auto Icons is about selling, so we source cars for clients. We source some of the best cars out there, and we offer them on our platform. So cars will be from, say, cars from Germany. You want to ship over to Australia, we can ship it across borders. So that's what we do. Okay, you guys want to come over for a little bit? I'll just show you. Where should we start? Okay, that Lancia right top left on there, that's the Lancia 1989 Lancia Delta Integrale 16 valve. That's quite a unique car. So as you all know, it's a very iconic car. It's a car that won the most number of races, WRC races back then. I think it still holds the record, if I'm not wrong, more than any of the WRXs and Evos, So it's done very well for itself, so it's good a name. We managed to find this in a private collection in South Africa. This owner had 400 over cars, and he wanted to get rid of 90% of them, and it was a very, very long list. So we only picked a couple. He's got other cars that we weren't quite into.
Is that a right-hand drive or left-hand drive?
Yeah, it's a right-hand drive. It was a car that came from the UK originally,
okay.
And then it was moved to South Africa as a private collection. Yeah. Over to the right is a 1989 911 3.2 Carrera. That's got a G50 gearbox in it. So that's a really nice, clean example of how the cars were maintained, all these years. Okay, let's see. Then to the right of that's a little bit of a special car. That's a 1991 Honda NSX NA, I believe. NA1, they call them. Yeah. So this car was a one-owner car. It was bought from Japan. It only has 12,000 kilometers in it. Plastic seals. The plastic seals are still plastic wrapped. And it's got some celebrity signatures on the front cowling when you open up the hood and all. It's got Suchiya. I think he's some drifter, right?
Some drifter, right?
Yeah, just some drifter.
Drift King.
Yeah, this car is really immaculate. When you see it up close, right, it's unbelievable. All the bolts and nuts still have their markings on them from the factory. It's unbelievable. So it's part of a customer's collection. So we'll be here for the next couple of years before we can register it. Because in Singapore we have this classic car scheme where the car needs to be at least 35 years old before it's put on the road. So that will qualify in a few years. We dropped one car down. That's an R34 GTR. That car is here also for storage. I don't think you'll ever see our roads here because it'll be another 8-9 years before it can hit the road. But it's one of those cars that's up for sale. So yeah, very, very original condition also. I think they did some work also. It was done by Garage R. It's one of our more well-known JDM stores here. And then to the left of that is an 88 911 Carrera 3.2 Targa. That will qualify for registration next year also. Very, very original condition. It had a paint job done to it, but what's special about this car is that it's a two-owner car, and the work that was done on it throughout most of its life was by Porsche Classics. So in South Africa, so it was maintained by a dealership. And typically, you know, like in Singapore's fashion, right, out of warranty, you take it outside, right? But this car is practically its whole life is taken care of at the dealer. Okay, then move to the left. We've got the white and the red. I think these will speak to the Alpha owners. These cars are a little bit special. They're both 1985 Alfettas, 3-liter specials, right? These are the 3-liter homologation cars. Only 207 were ever made. I believe the last count was like 70 something that are left in this world. We are very fortunate to have come across these two, and actually two more. We've got 4 of these, but we sold the other 2 already at auctions overseas. These 2 cars were completely built, ground up, you know, from nut and bolt. There's a nut and bolt restoration, completely brand new. Except for the interior, it's kept original and they're in great shape. And they're built by Alpha specialists, people who only build Alfa Romeos. Engines were done by a guy called Dawie de Villiers, and he's like the go-to person in South Africa for Auto Delta, Alfa Romeo stuff. So he's coming of age, so I sent him a couple of engines, a couple of gearboxes, and we got him to complete a couple of cars, including the one below, which is our next topic. It's a 2.5 GTB. It's engine, gearbox, everything is done by Dawie de Villiers also. Let's see now. Okay, to the right of the red car, you see the 2 Mercedes. These are a little bit special in that you look at it, they're ordinary cars, they're 280 CEs, right? The one in the middle is a 114 1978. The one on the right is a 1985. So they look like the run-of-the-mill Mercedes, you know, no big deal and all, right? But these 2 cars came from a collector. Now this collector had commissioned these 2 cars to be built by a very famous restorer called Kindler. Kindler is in Germany. You know, as we come closer to the cars, you can see some of the details on them, right? Kindler is more than your Mercedes specialist now. He's the company that Mercedes-Benz Classics uses to restore their cars. You know, he's at that level. And so these 2 cars are special because he doesn't do these kind of cars. Because he's a cheaper, low-end kind of cars. They do mainly 600 Pullmans and 300 SL Gullwings, right? So these 2 cars are a bit ordinary, but because of their relationship, they took on the cars. These 2 cars were restored each in excess of 200,000 euros. So if you look at them, like they're brand new, we've driven it around, right? It's like driving a brand new car. You know, you jump in a car, you drive, it's like, how can a car be so quiet? But no sound from the suspension, no sound from the engine. It's just smooth. It's a smooth drive throughout. You know? So it's a very, very amazing. Auto gearboxes are smooth. Interior has not a single blemish in them. It's amazing, amazing car. Then below the 114 is a GT3 RS. That's a local car. 997.1 generation 1 3.6. This car just got sold yesterday, so it'll be leaving us this coming week. I've always enjoyed this company here because it brightens up the whole place, you know. So we had this, and we pulled the red one, the green, and the yellow, and the orange down. Right? It looked like Skittles in here, you know. It's quite cool. Right? Yeah, amazing, right? And to the right of that yellow 3-liter SC, 1978. So it's a 1 year only. You see the window trims on the car are different from the other 911s, right? They're like old school chrome trims on the newer school body cars. So 1970 is the 1 year only where they had the chrome trims. It's the last changeover year. That's a very nice car also. Very low ownership, 100,000, low mileage, 100,000 kilometers since 1978. The service book is stamped every step of the way, all the way until last year. Yeah, so very nice to drive. The car is amazing. You look at the undercarriage, if you want to see the camera below later, right? You can see all the nuts and bolts are just like NSX, all clean. Yeah. And over there is a 85 Targa, a little bit more run-of-the-mill. But what I like about this car is very honest. It's got all the stone chips, front bumper and all. We've left it all original because from day one that's original paint, you know. So we just kept it that way. And look at the interior, it's a bit psychedelic. It's got all these checkered stuff and it's quite cool. This one also is quite an original car. It's got the optional striped interior, velour over leather kind of look. This is also at 84 3.2, 915 gearbox. It's quite a nice car to drive. This one here, it was one of our earlier imports. It came in a couple of years ago. It's a 911E 2.2 Sportomatic. So Sportomatic is a Porsche's foray into automatics at first, right? So I think that's quite interesting because they actually, I only found this out recently, like 2 years ago or so, right? They came out with Sportomatic for racing actually, you know. Yeah, so you think that your manual gearbox is more reliable, right? Porsche actually developed their version of the automatic, Sportomatic to race. Don't know how successful it was, but now it's a mechanic's nightmare to try to fix it, you know. But to get it right is quite tricky. But we sorted this out. This car was just recently put up for sale because the owner has run out of car park space. I think, yeah, having more than 15 cars is usually a problem. So very original. So except for the paint, we did the paint locally. We didn't do an interior, but a very nice car to drive. Yeah. So these are called the F bodies, right? F bodies have the longer, also called the long hood, right? As opposed to those are the G body ones with the accordion bumpers. So I find these are more naturally light and nimble. You know, so these are great cars to drive. Yeah. Over here we have the little special cars in the JDM collection. Also, this is an 1967, no 1965. Sorry, 67 S800. So this car is a bit of a, you know, it's one of those Japanese K cars. They kept it all small, you know, within a certain size, and I think Honda broke the rules by making the car a bit too powerful, yeah. So I think quite interesting also, you know, that the car red lines at 8,500 RPM. You know, so I like to think of it as the grandfather to the S2000, yeah. And I invite every one of you to sit in there and, you know, feel the shifter. This car has the most precise, the best feeling shifter in the world to me at the moment. Yeah, even more precise than S2000, you know. So it's really special. Back then, I think they were getting into motorcycle racing and all that. So I think it's quite special. Also, like you look at the engine itself, right? It's got individual throttle bodies, you know, for a car back in those days. You know, I mean, people built them for racing. It's ITBs, individual carburetors. You know, these things pretty special. Yeah. So this car also came from a collector. Yeah. What else we got? Oh, this boring looking. That's a local car. It's my own personal car. It's a 1986 628 CSI. It's now a manual, which makes it a lot nicer car to drive. It's not a touring kind of car. This car has a little bit of history in that the original owner was is from the Kwok family. So Robert Kwok, what plantations are, they belonged to Kian Yen, who was the MD of Shangri-La Group. So he's the first owner. And I only found out when, purely by accident, so I already loved the car. It was in the wrong color, it was red and all that. I said I still wanted the car, right? So I bought the car, and then I asked the owner, the seller, which was a dealer, and asked him whether, you know, this car came in any books. It's nothing, this car got no paperwork and all that, so it's fine, you know. So I went over to collect the keys of the car at the dealer. It was at Balestier Road, right? And I went in, he wasn't there, the dealer wasn't there. The son said, I'm supposed to pass you the keys, you know. So I said, okay, yeah, I'll take the keys. And I said, by the way, is there any paperwork to this car now? I just wanted to double check, right? He says, let me go to the back. You know, he goes to the back, right? He pulls out this plastic bag, right? It's got some parts in there in a book, you know. There's an owner's manual, and there's an owner's manual for the car. I said, well, this is the owner's manual for the car, you know. Your dad said there wasn't a manual. He's like, yeah, I think maybe it belongs to this car. So I opened it. So that's where I saw the history of the first owner and all the service stamps and all that. So it was almost thrown away. He says we were going to throw it away because all this pile of junk that we were going to set up. I was like, My God. So how can you throw something like that away? So you've kept it ever since I got it here. Yeah. Wow. Imagine throwing something like this out, you know. Why would you throw something like this, you know? Yeah. So this it's got the owner's handbook and the first owner's name. Kwok Chun Yen. Kwok Kun Yen. So after 3 owners, don't know how many it is. So if you check the log card, it says more than 6. So we don't know how many. But the good thing is that this car was, I think people loved it for the shape and all that, but it's obviously not a car that was driven much. How I found out was when so I bought it when it's red, and I said no, I got to bring it back to the original color, right? So I did a search and all that, and this obviously this helps also. Ashad green is agate green. Agate green. So I looked at it, I said, wow, it's a lovely color, but the problem is I don't know if I can live with it, right? So I said, okay, I'll just choose an original BMW color. So this is Cosmos Blue. So back then when I had a paint shop, I decided to strip it down and then to repaint the car. So what was interesting was the first paint that went over the green, right, was a really poor job, you know. I don't know who did the job, right? It was so poor, right, that it just came off. So all the layers of paint on top of it, right, there was red, then there was pink, then there was red again, and then it was another, I don't know, kind of maroonish kind of color, and then so by the time and then the red again. So it's a big chunk of paint. So my painters, they called me and said, hey boss, you need to come take a look at this car, you know. You wanted to use chemicals, strip it down and all that. No need, you just peeled off, right? Everything came off and left the car green. The original green was at the bottom. The sandpaper was so mild, right? The paint didn't stick onto it. So everything else is just resting on the car, you know. So we're peeling off sections with our fingernails. Yeah, big sections, you know. So they said, hey, how? Just polish up lah. No, you can't do that, right? You can't pay clear coat over it also. The sections of that. 0 rust in this car. Wow. Yeah, 0, nothing. Then I said, no, just sand it down, just give it the base coat and then paint this color. Actually, I feel it's more palatable over time. Yeah. So yeah, it's the story of this car. So I think that's the fun part of it. So what we kind of live for here is like service books and all that. So what we try to do is we try to buy cars with some history, and you know, it's not so much about knowing the condition of the car and how they were looked after. It's more about handing down a story. You know, I think at the end of the day, we want to all know that the cars that we're spending time with have a little bit of history to them. You know, there's a good story. You know, and some of the cars here, I'd say. Not any of these in particular, but some of the cars that we acquired, we actually spend a lot of time with the sellers. So they tell us about their road trips and you know, things where they've been with their families and all that. I think that's something that we try as fast as we can to document down, so we pass on the you know, pass on some kind of legacy, you know. Or else it's just a car, and that's not how we treat things here. We don't just treat them as objects, you know. Because I think every one of them is. It used to mean something to someone, you know. Yeah. So last one in this room is this Project 993. So that's my other hobby, is to build the fix-up cars. So we used to run workshops on it, but not so much anymore. But this car is a little special. It's one of our bigger projects. So this car is a bare-bodied nut and bolt. I wouldn't say a restoration because there's so much hot bits that go into it. Some I can't even tell you on the camera. So, but it makes it for a very exciting drive. We're trying to use some of the technology that we have today on this car. What I can share with you is the engine's intake manifolds, carbon plenums, and all that. It's all custom built for the cars. We've got 2 of them. The other one sits somewhere else. So we've got a pair of them, the 2 sister cars. Very similar builds, same body, 993, 1994 and 1995, both of the cars. what will be interesting for this, for you all to know, is that, so you know these cars, right, they had the first generation of ABS, right? Sorry, I think this one, the first generation, is horrible. Like you step and then you don't know whether you're going to hit the guy still, you know, kind of thing, right? So this one, we wanted to make it fun, and depending on who's driving or how the driver feels, right, they can do their own adjustments. So the ABS, the stock ABS system on this car was stripped out, as with the entire wiring loop, everything is completely stripped out. So we're rewiring this whole car, mil spec wiring and all. But we're also adding motorsports ABS and traction control. So everything will be dialable, so you can dial the amount of traction you want, you know, all the way like 0, like how it was in stock. And the ABS is modern, so it's got all those ABS sensors, not the original pickups, right? But it will react very differently. It will be more like a modern day motorsports kind of car. So in wet condition, dry conditions, you can dial in all this, you know. Motec M150 will be running the ECU, the engine management, and then we'll also have PDM. PDM is the power control, the power distribution module, which will run all the lights, the gauges, anything that's electrical. So practically nothing stock will be in here electrically. Yeah, but it'll be all modern, which is going to be the amazing thing about this, because then everything looks great, everything looks stock. It will sound like a 917 race car and all that, right? But it's got all the safety features also. Yeah. So the only thing we're deciding now is whether so I've got KW suspension on this car already that we're going to put on, but we may switch out to an active suspension. Yeah. So we're just deciding, you know, attractive and all that, right? So that's also dialable. We can dial it to be something modern. Yeah. So hopefully this will go down in history as one of the special cars also. It's nothing like a Singer, of course, but we don't profess to be. I just want to build a car that's fun to drive. Yeah. So can't really see much now, but the car's going to be put together soon. Engine builder will be sending the engine back, I think, about 2 months' time. So yeah, maybe Singapore can have a special car to call its own. Okay, so we're done. You want to step outside? Show you the rest of the stuff. It's a long one. I think it's good, the Mini. The Mini is like modern, and that's something that we imported, and it's modern, it's on sale, but it's one of the, how many did they make of this? I forgot. 300? Yeah. This is the old number and all that, right? The GP3, yeah. Also a very special car. It's a very nice car to drive, but it's too much power. How for the front wheels, I think. To the point where it's struggling for grip, I find, but it looks cool. It looks cool. Over here we have a 1970 911T. A very special car, this one, because it's cheap. It looks very ordinary and all that, right? But it's one of those cars that I never thought I'd be able to find, because it's a one owner first pink kind of car. So this is the kind of car that collectors are really going for now. So whatever scratches you see that this owner has accumulated, right? That's something that
original.
carried on from day one, you know. So when we spoke to the owner and said, hey, you know, these scratches and all that, he says, I'm not touching that. I don't trust the modern paint. I don't trust all the work people do, you know. So he just kept it 1970, all the scratches, chips and all that from day one. Yeah. Interior original.
Patina, right?
Yeah, no patina, exactly. I think it's locked. I can pop it open for you later. So we took out the drive thinking that it probably has the same kind of aging as the paint and all that. But the car drives amazing. It's so quiet, goes so the hums, no sound or nothing. You know. Mechanically, everything's sorted out. The car is one time idle is smooth, very special car. This one will go down and see. Hopefully, so we put this up for sale to someone. We won't entertain respray on the car. I think we should just keep it this way. Okay, then this is a very rare find. I didn't think we would be able find something like this. It's a 67 Johnson Fair Lady Roadster, so it's predecessor to all your Fair Ladies, right? This also came with the same collection as the S800. Yeah, but as you can see, it's immaculate. Yeah. But this is also an example of cars, right, that if you buy from a collection and it hasn't been really driven over 10 years, there's quite a lot of work to do, you know. Yeah, things get clogged up, you change a few lines, how the rubber get hardened and all that, right? But yeah, that's the only way to do that. So if you have a car that's stopped for so long, it's a bad idea to just start it and try to drive, because we started seeing a lot of leaks and things like that. Things all dry up, right? It's very nice. But it's in Seoul, so they hopefully the new owner will do something special with this. Yeah, I think he plans to turn it into a hot rod. So these shoes should be photographed together eventually. From this became the 2 liter. This is a 1500. This became then it became a 2 liter. But after that became this. So this is the first generation 240Z. So this 240Z is a little special also because it's a series 1.